Let's come to order, please. I'd like to recognize Mr. Ricky Terry, a United States Army veteran who served his country from 1972 to 1975 during the Vietnam era. He is an active volunteer with his church and helps other veterans in the community find resources for benefits. Mr. Terry, first of all, we thank you for your service to our country. And after the invocation, we ask that you come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we come before your throne on this National Day of Prayer to affirm the priority of prayer for this great nation. We ask you to advance your kingdom in our lives, our families, and our government leaders. Our nation needs that which only prayer and meditation can produce: love, joy, peace, patience, prosperity, goodness, comfort, humility, kindness, and a gentle spirit. Let us be sensitive to those who face challenges on a daily basis, whether it's physical, financial, mental, or emotional, not looking the other way and passing them by. Let us be all things to all men, that we might by all means save some. Continue to empower our commissioners to faithfully serve the great citizens of this county. May they feel the prayers of your people and the touch of your Holy Spirit upon their lives to conduct this business of the people, by the people, and for the people. We pray that the peace of God would precede them and follow them in every decision they make concerning the items on this agenda tonight. May the grace and mercy of God continue to abound in this government and among this your people. In your mighty, marvelous, and miraculous name we pray. Amen.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See that we have some of our young students in their audience this afternoon, this evening. And so I'm going to, since they have to kind of get home out of this rain, I'm going to move them up before speakers from the floor and allow Commissioner Cook to present this proclamation adopt resolution celebrating Northern High School's girls varsity basketball team as 2026 NCHSAA 6A state champion. Let's give them a round of applause right quick. Ms. Cook is going to read the resolution.
Thank you, Chairman Austin. Welcome, ladies. We're so glad you're here. We're always happy to celebrate the success of our young people in Guilford County, and this is no exception. You guys worked very hard. Your dedication and perseverance this season certainly paid off, and you really represented Guilford County well at the state level. So we're so happy you're here to celebrate your success. I'm going to read this resolution to you guys, and then we'd love for you to come through and shake everyone's hand, and then we'll take a picture. Okay? A resolution honoring the Northern Guilford High School girls basketball team on their 2026 NCHSAA 6A state championship. Whereas Northern Guilford High School, established in 2007, serves a diverse group of approximately 1,300 students and is noted for its focus on academic excellence. And whereas the Northern Guilford High School women's basketball team completed the 25-26 season with an impressive record of 27-4, highlighted by winning the first state title for the team since their 2018 North Carolina High School Athletic Association 3A state championship. And whereas under the leadership of Coach Joshua Evans, the Nighthawks exemplified discipline, perseverance, and teamwork, earning recognition for a remarkable performance that pulled them out of a first half deficit to a championship win. And whereas standout junior guard Lena McField, an aspiring WNBA player and physician, was named most valuable player in the championship game after scoring 24 points and 7 rebounds, and became the all-time leading scorer for Northern Guilford and Guilford County schools in early 26, surpassing 2,800 career points. And whereas freshman players Aaliyah Settle and Anaya Purley, scoring 16 and 14 points respectively, helped the team excel offensively to build the double-digit lead that won the championship. And whereas the dedication and support of the coaching staff, school administration, faculty, families, and the Northern Guilford High School community have been instrumental in the team's success and in fostering a culture of integrity, determination, and excellence. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Guilford County Board of Commissioners does hereby commend and congratulate the Northern Guilford High School women's basketball team for their historic 2026 NCHSAA 6A state championship victory, and for bringing immense pride and inspiration to their school, their families, and the Guilford County community. Adopted this 7th day of May 2026, in witness hereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the corporate seal of the County of Guilford to be affixed this 7th day of May 2026. Melvin Skip Austin, Chairman, Guilford County Board of Commissioners. Congratulations, ladies. We're so proud of you.
Give a round of applause.
And our entire coaching staff couldn't be here tonight, but assistant coach Leah Turner is here. And Coach Turner, if you wanted to just take a few seconds to say thank you on behalf of the team, or any words that you have to reflect on the team, that microphone right behind you. Yeah, thanks so much.
We just want to thank you guys for having us, and God is good. He blessed us. His favor was upon us. It was a long season, and there was a lot of different personalities, ups and downs, but we came together, and we got on the same page. Everybody accepted their role, and I really think that the cohesion and chemistry is what led us through. So thank you guys again for having us, and God is good.
Give them another round of applause. Come on.
Okay. Congrats again, ladies.
Righty. Now back to our agenda, which is the speakers from the floor. I have 4 speakers that have signed up. So we refer to you by the numbers that you signed up. So we call forth now speaker number 1.
Good evening, County Commissioners and residents of Guilford County. I'm Scott Jones. I'm the Executive Director for Tiny House Community Development. Just a few weeks ago, we actually had our ribbon cutting ceremony in High Point, North Carolina for Guilford County's first Veterans Supportive Housing Community. We are very proud to say that we had so much outpouring from the community, local churches and businesses, volunteers and donors who come out and made that possible. I can't stand here long enough to thank everybody who contributed, but I will say that we didn't have any county commissioners at our ribbon cutting. But I am honored to have had Pat Tillman, Alan Perdue come and visit the community a couple of times, and also Mr. Commissioner Frankie Jones is coming out tomorrow with Councilmember Hugh Holston. What we've created in High Point is one of a kind. There is not another community like it in Guilford County, in the state of North Carolina, as far as that goes for veterans. We still have another project in the wind. That's 2 3-bedroom respite care homes that could potentially take care of 6 to 12 individuals in need. I know that's being looked at in the budget. I hope that this commission will take that into consideration so that we can finish this community in High Point. We can have veterans honored and a place to stay, but more particularly, we also have another project that we're working on Freeman Mill Road. That's a 6-acre campus that will provide 28,000 square foot of education, construction, manufacturing, advanced modular manufacturing here in Greensboro and Guilford County. Not being done anywhere in the state of North Carolina. Not only will it have that facility on it, but it'll also have several 1 and 2 bedroom houses for veterans and seniors located on the same property. We're about to finish the first phase of that community, which is the 3 houses that were built by high school students at Greensboro Day School, and also with Peak Adventures. Peak Adventures was a nonprofit program that dissolved about 2 years ago. I'm happy to say that High Point Community Against Violence, Tiny House Community Development, have brought back Peak Adventures. We have about 14 at-risk high school youth that will participate in the program, earning a certification this year and be helping the community, seniors particularly. This is May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I would ask and plead the county to consider placing someone from Mental Health Department here in Guilford County part-time at the Hope Center. We have 35 to 45 individuals experiencing homelessness at the Hope Center Monday through Friday, and on Saturday mornings receiving breakfast and other resources. I'm not asking for money to hire someone. I'm asking Guilford County Commissioners and the Department of Health and Human Services and others to see if we can find an employee who can come to the Hope Center at least 2 days a week in the mornings to help with assessments and evaluations of individuals that are facing mental health crisis. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Speaker number 2.
Gail Dunham, Summerfield. I'm still concerned about our wells in Summerfield and your total negligence in representing the people in Summerfield. They're saying about this there's a horrible tax increase, and the realtors said, well, call the council, call the members of council, and maybe talk to them. For 2 years, I have asked for 15 minutes of your time, and only to protect the wells in Summerfield. You don't give me 15 minutes, but you sure give a lecture for everything else. Tomorrow, it's going to bid. Tomorrow, the town of Summerfield is going to bid a water tower for fire suppression and fire protection. However, the Summerfield Fire Department is not involved. They have had nothing to do with this plan for years. I've given you all these documents. The fire department has an excellent, affordable plan that's going to meet their needs, but no, we got to blow money on this water tower. And you have made sure things were not, you made sure that things were not public. One other thing about the money between the county and the town, it was the Summerfield evidently said they were going to buy Laughlin School for $2.2 million. The offer that they gave you was made in closed session. It was never legal because it was done in closed session. If they had done it in public at that time, there probably would have been the money to buy Laughlin School and do it right. But now there's no money left because we've got all these projects going on. I understand they're not going to even try to borrow money to buy Laughlin School, but they've really led you along, and perhaps that's why you were okay with it. Twit recently was talking about how he had such a wonderful meeting at the county board. You said you roll out the red carpet, you bring out the blank checkbook. What do you want? Literally. And he was bragging because Kay Cascia was so generous, and you made a commitment. That's what he said. You made a commitment, a financial commitment, for something that would be in perpetuity. It wasn't even just $2 million. It wasn't just the $6.6 million. And this $6.6 million, the fire department doesn't even have a part in this. How many people in this room could do something constructive with $6.6 million? And all I wanted was 15 minutes of your time. So now we have 3 questions. Everyone in Summerfield relies on their wells for our water. And we need to protect our wells until we receive municipal water. Where are the documents for the property owners? Oh, they're going to build, they're also going to do fire hydrants, but they won't tell the town where they are. There's 3 fire hydrants. Oh, it's mystery locations. And you are funding 100%. You can stop. You don't have to fund this nonsense. The fire department isn't part of it. Who is going to be there?
Thank you, Ms. Dillon. Speaker number 3.
Good evening. My name is David Smith. I'm a resident of High Point, North Carolina, where I live with my wife and 2 young children. My family, as well as my faith as a Quaker, is the reason why I rise today alongside my friends in the Guilford Clean Power Now Coalition who are with me. And we're here to ask the commissioners to adopt their resolution and commit to transitioning Guilford County to 100% clean energy by 2050. Quakers have several testimonies we live by, one of which is stewardship. This extends to every facet of one's life, including stewardship of the environment. We Quakers understand this world we have been given as an opportunity to reside in comes with the responsibility to ensure those who come after us have the same opportunity, if not a better one, to enjoy this planet we call home. We are to be good stewards. This is a principle as well that my parents instilled in me and that I teach my children. In everything you do, leave it better than you found it. That applies to this world. Another thing I grew up hearing from my parents was how incredible America is and how incredible Americans are. When faced with a challenge, we do not waver, we do not hesitate. We do not look for the easy way out. Rather, we lean in and find a way, often not only to meet the challenge, but to beat it and exceed everyone's expectations. Feasibility is something I hear often mentioned when we talk about a 100% clean energy goal by 2050. I believe in the people of Guilford County to live up to their American resolve and meet this challenge. I believe in the commissioners of this board to challenge yourselves and to challenge us. Let's be good stewards and an amazing example of what feasibility looks like when Americans are challenged. Do you believe in the people of Guilford County? If you do, pass this resolution here and now. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker number 4.
Good evening. My name is Joanna Pendleton. I'm a resident of Guilford County, a parent of 3 public school kids, and the proud president of the Guilford County Association of Educators. You heard from me a couple of weeks ago when I came to invite you to stand with us in Raleigh on May Day to let our state legislators know that we need them to prioritize kids over corporations. We'd like to extend a special thank you to Commissioner Murphy for joining us in Raleigh last Friday, along with 15 to 20,000 of our North Carolina neighbors who supported public schools and working families. May Day was not the beginning of our work, and it certainly was not the end. So I'm here tonight to say that we will continue to fight until our state is leading the South in education funding and education excellence. I'm also here to say that we, of course, have work to do locally as well. I'm looking forward to hearing the budget presentation tonight, and I want to encourage you, commissioners, to continue to prioritize public education in your budget. And again, thank you for the new level of communication and collaboration with the Board of Education that you've implemented this year. Times are tough, there's no denying it. Times are tough for homeowners, and they're tough for renters, and they're tough for working families, and they're tough for public school employees, and they're tough for public school students and families. I don't envy you the job of trying to balance the real needs of the people in our community. The reality is, yeah, you and I know the property tax rate will have to come down some in order for our people to survive. But we also know that revenue must increase in this time because increasing costs and inflation are also hitting our public institutions. And since I'm here for public schools, I'm going to say specifically that without a revenue increase and a budget increase, our local public schools will not survive. And that's not an exaggeration. We literally, actually, cannot keep the lights on without a budget increase, and we're still sitting here without a state budget, without any raises for employees, without the resources and materials and people that will enable our students to learn. I'm here today to be a voice to encourage you, commissioners, to bravely step up for our community by continuing to invest in our local schools and other public goods. I'm a homeowner who also believes that our public schools are probably the most important line on our budget. And while times are tough, they're going to be so much tougher if we let our public school students, families, and workers suffer in this critical moment. We need each other, and we look to you to stand with us for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all the speakers that have signed up. Are there any other speakers from the floor? Seeing now that portion of our agenda is now closed, we'll go to our presentations. Next one is proclaim May 2026 as ALS Awareness Month in Guilford County. That's going to be presented by Commissioner Brandon Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This evening, we lift up those individuals living with ALS. It can affect anyone, and currently there is no known cause, prevention, or cure. I invite our Public Health Director, Courtney McFadden, to come forward. Each year, thousands of new ALS cases are diagnosed, and families and caregivers face significant physical, emotional, and financial challenges. Residents are encouraged to learn more about ALS, support those affected, and help bring attention to this devastating disease. Proclaim May 2026 as ALS Awareness Month. Whereas ALS, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive neurodivergent disease affecting nerve cells that control movement, impacting the brain and spinal cord, and leading to muscle weakness, loss of mobility, and loss of life. And whereas thousands of new ALS cases are reported annually, and the average survival time after diagnosis is 2 to 5 years, and whereas this disease can impact anyone and currently has no known cause, means of prevention, or cure, making diagnosis difficult, and whereas individuals living with ALS, their families, and their caregivers face significant challenges requiring compassionate care, education, and community support. Whereas securing access to new therapies, durable medical equipment, and communication technologies are essential for people living with ALS, and whereas increased public awareness and research funding are vital to improving quality of life for those affected and to advancing the search for treatments and a cure. Now therefore it be resolved that the Guilford County Board of Commissioners do hereby declare May 2026 as ALS Awareness Month and encourages citizens to raise awareness and support those impacted by this disease. Adopted the 7th day of May 2026. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the corporate seal of the County of Guilford to be affixed this, the 7th day of May, 2026, Melvin Skip Alston, Chairman of the Guilford County Board of Commissioners.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. On behalf of Guilford County Public Health, thank you for this proclamation recognizing ALS Awareness Month in Guilford County. This proclamation is an opportunity to recognize the courage and resilience of individuals living with ALS and to acknowledge the caregivers and advocates who walk alongside them every day. It also reminds us of the importance of continued public awareness, partnership, and support for efforts aimed at improving quality of life and advancing treatment and research. We appreciate the board's leadership in recognizing ALS Awareness Month and helping bring visibility to an issue that affects many families in our community and across the country. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you all. Next item is resolution honoring Susan Shoemaker upon her retirement as president of the Cone Health Foundation. That's going to be presented by Commissioner Jones.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So this evening, I'm pleased to recognize Ms. Susan Shoemaker, and I ask her to come forward and well along with anyone here with you. That may include some of her colleagues that are sitting there, including former Greensboro City Councilwoman Jamila Pender. You guys come all the way up. Tonight, we'd like to recognize her on her retirement at the end of March as the president of the Cone Health Foundation for the past 16 years. As a board, it is our honor to lift up members of our community who've committed their lives to serving others, and it's helpful with someone like Susan, with whom I've had an opportunity to work in the community with. Before I begin with the resolution, I'd like to personally thank you for your leadership and work, not only with Guilford County, but for advocating for collaboration and equal access to health care for all. And now I'll read the resolution. Whereas Susan Fitzgibbon Shoemaker has faithfully served as president of the Cone Health Foundation for 16 years, demonstrating steadfast leadership, vision, and an unwavering commitment to improving the health and well-being of communities across Greensboro and beyond. And whereas she earned a Master of Health Administration and a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree from Duke University, served as president of Annie Penn Hospital for 20 years before leading its merger into Cone Health, and is a fellow of the American College of Healthcare Executives. And whereas throughout her tenure, Susan has guided the foundation's evolution from traditional grant making to a trust-based, community-driven philanthropic model, overseeing over $100 million in grants, emphasizing collaboration, equity, and the importance of listening deeply to community voices. And whereas under her leadership, the foundation embraced the guiding principle, driven by equity, guided by community, ensuring that investments and initiatives are rooted in the lived experiences and expressed needs of the people they serve. And whereas she has worked alongside dedicated staff, board members, community partners, and colleagues at Cone Health to address health disparities and advance innovative, community-centered solutions that promote both equity and opportunity. And whereas the Cone Health Foundation has funded the Guilford County's Mediation Assistance Program, where prescription drug assistance is provided to uninsured, low-income individuals in Guilford County and surrounding areas. The Smart Girls Life Skills Training to provide young girls with the information and skills necessary for them to become empowered young women who are ultimately happy, healthy, and successful in life. And the Young Adult Clinic Initiative that provides comprehensive services for young adults in a dedicated clinic setting for ports, school physicals, immunizations, and behavioral health screenings. And whereas her leadership style, grounded in humility, respect, and a deep belief in the wisdom of communities, has inspired collaboration and strengthened partnerships throughout the entire region. And where she has expressed profound gratitude for the collective impact achieved through these critical partnerships, recognizing the shared commitment to building healthier, more equitable communities. And whereas her tenure has been marked not only by organizational growth and impact, but also by her personal dedication to learning, growth, and fostering the next generation of leaders committed to advancing health equity. Her commitment to the industry led her to reactivate her RN license and volunteer in marginalized communities and with the congregational nurses. And whereas upon her retirement at the end of March of 2026, Susan left behind a legacy of transformative leadership and a strong foundation that will continue to respond to emerging community needs and work toward a future free of health inequities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Guilford County Board of Commissioners hereby expresses its deepest appreciation to Susan Shoemaker for her outstanding service, visionary leadership, and enduring contributions to the health and well-being of the community. Be it further resolved that the Guilford County Board of Commissioners extends its sincere congratulations and best wishes to her for her well-earned retirement, with gratitude for her lasting impact and confidence that her legacy will continue to inspire progress for years to come. Adopted this 7th day of May 2026, Melvin Skip Alston, Chairman, Guilford County Board of Commissioners. Let's give Susan a round of applause.
Like to say a few words?
I'll just say a few words. Thank you so very much for this really nice honor. And one person doesn't do anything, as you all know so well. And I just couldn't be more proud of the team that we have who are here tonight. Luke Wallace, Christina Young, Jamila Pender, my husband Brad. And so I accept this on behalf of our board, our staff, our community partners, our statewide partners, and elected officials like yourselves who have made all this possible. And it really does take a village to do this kind of work, particularly in some trying times these days. So the foundation is in great hands and will continue to really be focused on health equity and eliminating health disparities. Thank you.
Give another round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Jones. Next item is proclaimed May.
We have a presentation for her, a gift for your retirement, a celebration of you. Thank you for all that you've done to pull our team together. Thank you.
Give another round of applause.
Oh, that's right.
That's great.
Double on.
Now, moving right along. Proclaim May 2026 as Internal Audit Awareness Month in Guilford County. That's going to be presented by Commissioner Kay Casher. Ms. Casher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know our Audit Director, Chad Malstein, could not be here with the team this evening, but I would like to invite our internal audit team to members to please come forward. Ryan Kildew, Information Technology. Lori Wright, Business Process Improvement. Isabel Perez, Internal Auditor. LaTanya Yarber, Internal Audit Analyst. And Mr. Chairman, I'm just so pleased to showcase this group tonight. They do a fabulous job. They play a critical role in helping Guilford County achieve our goals through a structured and disciplined approach to evaluating risk, internal controls, governance, and operations. The work that Chad and his team accomplish strengthens our county's transparency, accountability, and efficiency all across county government. And their efforts help build and maintain public trust in government in all of our operations, and it helps to sustain the ethical and effective governance that we all adhere to. So with that, I would like to read the proclamation. Whereas internal auditing is an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve organizational operations, and whereas internal auditors help Guilford County accomplish its goals by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluating and improving the effectiveness of risk management, internal controls, governance, and operational processes. And whereas the work of internal auditors promotes transparency, accountability, efficiency, and stewardship of public resources, helping to ensure taxpayer dollars are managed responsibly and in accordance with applicable laws, policies, and best practices. And whereas internal auditors serve an important role in identifying opportunities for continuous improvement, strengthening public trust, and supporting sound decision-making across our county government. And whereas Guilford County recognizes the dedicated professionals who serve in internal audit functions and their commitment to integrity, objectivity, and excellence in public service, and whereas observing Internal Audit Awareness Month provides an opportunity to increase understanding of the value of internal auditing and the positive impact it has on effective and ethical government operations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Guilford County Board of Commissioners hereby proclaims the month of May 2026 as Internal Audit Awareness Month in Guilford County, and encourages all residents, employees, and community partners to recognize the important contributions of internal audit professionals in promoting accountability, efficiency, and good government. Adopted this the 7th day of May 2026, and witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the corporate seal of the County of Guilford to be affixed this the 7th day of May 2026. Melvin Skip Austin, Chairman, Guilford County Board of Commissioners. And let's just give a big round of applause for these our public servants. You take this. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate you, girl.
So Chairman Alston, Vice Chair Foster, and Audit Committee Chair Cashin, and board members. Chad is unfortunately not able to make it tonight. He's under the weather tonight, but he asked me to speak in his place. So on behalf of the Internal Audit Department, I want to thank you all for this proclamation. Your ongoing support and oversight has been key to our success as we work quietly in the background to increase ethics awareness and also to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of county government. I also want to thank Clerk to the Board, Robin Keller, and her staff for the amazing job they do in scheduling and keeping record of all our Audit Committee meetings. And finally, I wish to thank Audit Committee Chair Cashin, who has served faithfully on the Audit Committee since the early 2000s. And so during our interactions, your thoughtful questions and encouragement have been very much appreciated over the years. So thank you for all this. Thank you.
Okay, let's give him another round of applause. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda any commissioner would like to have pulled for separate consideration? If not, do I hear a motion?
Move approval.
Moved and properly second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. That passes on a unanimous vote. Next item is our public hearing. Text amendment case number 26-03, PLBD 00016, to amend section 10.06, civil penalties assessment of procedures, the Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, to establish specific civil penalties amount for violations under UDO regulations. Mr. Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board. This is to establish specific civil penalties, monetary penalties, for violations of the UDO that do not currently have a specified civil penalty amount, and that currently only references the North Carolina General Statute 160D. As such, this text amendment proposes the following penalties. First offense, $50, second offense, $100, third offense, $200, and fourth and succeeding offense, $500. Also, please note that every calendar day an offense is not remedied after being served a notice of violation shall be considered a separate offense. Staff also, with this, conducted a review of civil penalty amounts of other jurisdictions here in Guilford County. And as you are aware, where we can, we try to shoot for or reach for uniformity. And so these are in line with the other jurisdictions as well. And historically, these are the same penalties that have been assessed in Guilford County. And so with that, staff would ask approval of this, and then also in your motion to include amending the fee schedule to incorporate the same that would be effective July 1, 2026 as part of the fiscal year 26-27 budget.
Any question, Mr. Bell? Mr. Jones?
Yeah, just for the public's benefit, Mr. Bell. So when matters like this come, they go to the planning board first, and then they hear before it comes to us. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And they recommended approval as well?
That's correct.
All right. Nothing further.
No other questions? All right. Ms. Cashin?
Yes. Mr. Bell, I'm looking at the civil penalties.
Yes.
And I see that each day, first day you have $50 penalty, the next day 100, the next day 200.
Yes.
What is the max? And how do you, what do you do if they don't pay?
So the max is what we've recommended at $500.
Sorry, max is what?
The max is $500, okay. But we're more interested in compliance than enforcement. And so one of the things that we try to do is we try to work with the residents to bring about compliance. So that's why it's a graduated scale.
Did I understand you to say the max is 500?
That's correct, statutorily.
Well, I'm reading, well, that's City of Greensboro, though. 500 for the fourth and each succeeding offense. So we're, it's not clear to me exactly.
Yeah, so we start out with the lower amount, again, to try to bring about compliance. And so it's a graduated scale. Once we hit the fourth notice of violation, then each day can be a separate violation. So 500 first day, 500 the second day. Again, we're trying to escalate this so that we can bring up, again, compliance early in the process as opposed to later in the process.
Any other question? Mr. Perdue?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to ask one clarifying question. We passed some animal services fees a while back, and it actually took the director's ability to waive a fee in an extenuating circumstance. Does that occur in this? Do you have the authority or through the manager to evaluate extenuating circumstances and not continue to compound day after day?
Sure, and we've actually worked with the county attorney's office to do that, and we actually have done that. We've got compliance on a site, and so that doesn't exhaust that possibility either in certain situations. Yeah, we'd seek legal counsel on that.
Any other questions? All right, this is a public hearing. Proponents shall be heard first and shall be provided a total of 20 minutes, notwithstanding the number of persons desired to be heard. Opponents shall be heard after the proponents and shall be provided a total of 20 minutes, notwithstanding the number of persons desired to be heard. And if we need rebuttal, we have 3 minutes for rebuttal on each side. I'll call forth those now. Those in favor, please come forward. There none, any opposition? Seeing none, I now declare the public hearing is now being closed. Do I hear a motion?
All right. I move that the board adopt the amendments proposed in UDO text amendment case number 2603 PLBD 0016 and the aforementioned statement of plan consistency as presented herein to establish specific civil penalties for violations of UDO regulations that do not currently have a specified monetary civil penalty amount, and amend the fee schedule to incorporate the same effective July 1st, 2026.
Second.
Moved and properly second. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, please cast your vote. See the total, that passes on a unanimous vote. All right, the next one is Unified Development Ordinance UDO, text amendment case number 25-12, PLBD 00152, an amendment to subsection 2.8, floodplain administrator, section 3.5, procedures for specific applications, subsection 9.3, flood damage prevention, subsection 12, definition and adoption of updated flood maps. Mr. Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm going to ask Mr. Brent Gatlin, who is our watershed engineer, to come and assist with this presentation.
Thank you. So, this is an amendment to UDO text amendment case 2512 PLBD 0152. It's an amendment to subsection 2.8 flood plain administrator, subsection 3.5 procedures for specific applications, subsection 9.3 for flood damage prevention, and subsection 12 definitions, and to adopt the new flood maps for Guilford County. The purpose of this text amendment is to adopt the new flood maps of Guilford County and also to align our ordinance with the North Carolina model ordinance. In December of 2025, FEMA issued or notified Guilford County that the new flood maps and flood study for the county would become effective on June 10th, 2026. The county will need to adopt these new maps, the new flood insurance study, the new flood insurance rate map via text amendment before the June 10th, 2026 effective date deadline. This is required by FEMA and the Code of Federal Regulations to remain, or for Guilford County to remain, a national flood insurance program community. Maintaining NFIP community status helps ensure property owners within our community remain eligible for flood insurance through the NFIP program. It also helps ensure that citizens in our community remain eligible for disaster assistance in the event of a presidentially declared disaster or other major event. Keeping the flood maps and flood study and the flood damage prevention provisions of our ordinance current supports regulations that help reduce flood risk, and these amendments align our ordinance with the state's model ordinance. So community outreach. What did we do to let citizens know? Guilford County, in coordination with the City of Greensboro and City of High Point and other jurisdictions, and the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, we held a community outreach meeting in July of 2023 in support of the flood map and flood study updates. This was to inform citizens of how these flood map changes could potentially impact properties, and so we showed them the how, the why, and the when regarding these flood map changes. We advertised the meeting through letters to individual property owners who had buildings that were added to the floodplain compared to the previous maps. This was done based on GIS analysis. We also had flyers on our Guilford County webpage, the Planning and Development webpage, and the floodplain management webpage. On the right of this screen is one of the flyers that was posted that had links to how community members could access the maps and how they could get to this meeting and reach us. The meeting was also advertised through electronic notice on our webpage, and we also created a flood map update webpage that gave specifics on the flood map changes. We had a presentation at the meeting letting people know how this can affect them and what it all means. And after the meeting, we had a meet and greet with the citizens that showed up, and all the communities that we had our laptops, citizens could come and talk to us, and we could look up their properties and show them the current maps versus the new maps, and that helped them understand what kind of changes they may have on their specific property. Moving on. So for the text amendment, we recently held a public meeting. We had the legislative hearing on April 8th by the Planning Board, and today we have this meeting with the board regarding the flood map and flood study and the associated text amendment. Guilford County advertised this hearing in multiple ways, including the electronic legal notice webpage and signage that was posted strategically throughout the county. Here's some examples of a few intersections where some signage was posted. These are not all the intersections. This is just some example signage. So here, this is to give an example area of where some of the flood maps change. This is near Northeast Park. What you see in blue, this is the existing current effective flood map. What you see in blue is the 100-year floodplain. The blue and white hatch area is the floodway, which is where it's part of the 100-year floodplain where you have higher velocities and things can be a bit more dangerous during a flooding event. The yellow area is the 500-year floodplain, which is not regulated. This map is the same area, but this is the new map that will be coming out. And same thing, the blue is the 100-year floodplain, the white and blue hatch is the floodway area. This map, the reason for the changes, it's based on better scientific data that FEMA and the North Carolina Floodplain Mapping Program have. You may see on here that there are some black lines that cross the floodplain that have numbers on them. Those are the 100-year base flood elevations and cross sections. That's where FEMA and the Floodplain Mapping Group for North Carolina have specific data on these floodplains. If I go back to the prior map, there are fewer cross sections. So they had more cross sections, better topography, better data. That's why these maps are come out, and they give the community a better understanding of the flood risk. This map here is actually an overlay of both the prior map and the new map. And the areas in red at the outside of the floodplain, that is where the floodplain increased. The areas that you see in green are where the floodplain decreased. And on the left side here, we have data that shows that at the point, you might see a white and red dot in the middle of this floodplain. At that specific point, the 100-year base flood elevation was about 640.9. On the new maps, it's 640.5. So there's a 1.6 foot increase to the base flood elevation at that point. And so you may also see some areas in green right in the middle. Well, why did the area of the floodplain actually get smaller when the floodwaters are getting higher at this location? That's because there's better topography, better data. There's a hill at that location. And so that area is no longer shown as part of the floodplain. So the text amendment itself, the changes that are made, we have some general changes to include formatting improvements, clarifications. We revised language to align with the current North Carolina flood damage prevention ordinance model. We added cross-references to subsection 9.3 flood damage prevention and other sections of the ordinance to make it easier to read and to make it easier for people to go from one section to the next. It provides more clarity, and this helps users more easily navigate the ordinance. We also updated some graphics, illustrations in the ordinance for clarity. This is one on the next page. The one on the left was deleted and replaced with the image on the right. This did not change any regulations. It was just to clarify and to match the regulations that were already in the ordinance. And this image also just helps describe and gives people a visual of what different areas of the floodplain are, such as the floodway and the floodway fringe area. So the sections, again, that were updated, subsection 2.8, floodplain administrator, that is me. This describes the powers and duties of the floodplain administrator, and so the main amendments to this were just some formatting improvements, clarifying based on the model ordinance, and adding and updating some of the cross-references to other sections of the ordinance. We also updated a few sections in 3.5, which are procedures for specific applications, and that included 3.5F, certificate of floor elevation and floodproofing, 3.5I, floodplain development permits, and 3.5W, variances. And basically there was information in those sections that were also in 9.3. We consolidated everything to 9.3 and replaced the text in 3.5 with cross sections to direct people to section 9.3. So everything was consolidated in one place, making it easier for people to understand these regulations. The bulk of the text amendment is in subsection 9.3, flood damage prevention, and that's where we amended things to be better aligned with the model ordinance from the state. This is also where in 9.3D is where we adopt the new maps. There's a section 9.3D for the basis of the special flood hazard area, and that's where we replace the old date for the maps with the new date for the maps. We also have auto adoption language included in there, and what that does is it helps ensure that we do not get out of compliance by accidentally failing to adopt the new maps. So that automatic adoption language will help ensure continued compliance while also retaining the community's ability to appeal maps that we disagree with. So definitions, we added a number of definitions based on the model, and for clarity, we found a few missing terms and acronyms that were in the ordinance that needed to be defined. So we added those. You see on the right some acronyms that we added. And we, again, aligned our definitions with the model. And some terms might be general. People may think these are general terms, such as an accessory structure. But when it comes to flood damage prevention, there's a very specific definition for that. And so we clarified on those, like on the bottom right here, there's a definition. We included a statement that this definition applies only with respect to flood damage prevention. Therefore, it does not get confused with another section of the ordinance that may also refer to accessory structures. So at this point, I'm going to give it back to Leslie so he can go over the consistency statement with the comprehensive plan.
Brent, first of all, I'll pause and see if you have any technical questions for Brent.
Foster, then Mr. Tillman.
Okay, for clarity here, I'm asking, so are the impacted properties scattered across Guilford County?
Yes, throughout Guilford County. There were, based on GIS analysis, I believe there were about 46 structures that were previously outside the floodplain that were now inside the floodplain. Now, the opposite is also true. I don't remember the exact numbers, but there were some structures that were in the floodplain that will also find themselves now outside the floodplain.
So do cities have their own floodplain regulations?
That is correct. I'm currently referring to the unincorporated area of Guilford County. And every community in Guilford County also has to adopt these new maps.
Tillman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, well, I will say one thing. I had two constituents send me one of your notices, so your advertising must be working because two people sent me one of your notices just to comment there. But I did have a question on, well, two things. You mentioned the green areas that maybe once were in the floodplain and now are not. Is that, how did you explain that? I mean, that's just the terrain is now more elevated, or?
There can be many number of reasons. Basically, the maps are updated based on better scientific data. FEMA and the floodplain mapping program may have better survey areas or where they did not have survey. Most of the topography is based on LIDAR. That is flown LIDAR scanning the ground and determining the topography. So there's better LIDAR available compared to the last time these maps were updated. They may have other instructions, like a bridge may have been built somewhere, and they may have piers in the floodplain, and that could affect how the floodwaters move. So those are just a few examples of how the maps could change. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Questions? Mr. Bell?
Mr. Chairman, as you open up the hearing, I think you do have before you in your packet what staff is requesting. Again, we do have a deadline in June, and we want to make sure that those citizens of Guilford County that do currently have flood insurance or have the opportunity and need to get flood insurance, that we're compliant with our federal requirements in order to accommodate them getting that. So that's all I have at this time.
Again, this is a public hearing where proponents shall be heard first and shall be provided a total of 20 minutes, notwithstanding the number of persons desiring to be heard. The opponents shall be heard after the proponents and shall be provided a total of 20 minutes, notwithstanding the number of persons desiring to be heard. If necessary, we have 3 minutes for rebuttal. I'll call forth those now in favor. Proponents. Seeing that, anyone in opposition? Now declare the public hearing has been closed. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I move that the board approve this text amendment as proposed in Unified Development Ordinance Text Amendment Case 25-12-PLBD-00152 and adopt the aforementioned statement of plan consistency as presented herein to adopt the new flood maps flood study and amend the Guilford County UDO's floodplain damage prevention provisions to align with the most recent North Carolina model flood damage prevention ordinance.
Second.
Move to proper second. Discussion on the motion. Here now, please cast your vote. That passes on a unanimous vote. Under new business, I am going to recognize Vice Chair Foster for a recusal statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Commissioners, before we consider this new business item A, the Greensboro Guilford County Tourism Development Authority Budget Ordinance for fiscal year 2026-27, we need to take a recusal vote. Pursuant to Session Law 2021-191, specifically Section 14-234.3, which prohibits public officials who also serve as directors, officers, or governing board members for nonprofits from participating in making or administering any contracts with those nonprofits. When a governing board considers a contract with a nonprofit, including any award of money, board members involved with that nonprofit must recuse themselves from any deliberation and record their recusal with the clerk. This recusal process meets the governing board members' duty to vote and recusal procedure requirements. The recusal vote tonight will excuse each board member from deliberation and voting on appropriations and expenditures for the non-county economic development and social impact agencies due to a conflict of interest. It specifically excuses Chairman Skip Alston as he serves in his capacity as a commissioner on the Tourism Board of Directors, and Commissioner Jones, who serves in his capacity as a commissioner on the Sports Council, which is a sub-recipient of the Tourism Board. Is there a motion and a second for the recusal vote?
Can I make one correction? So it's the Greensboro Sports Foundation that I serve on the board of as a commissioner, not the Sports Council.
On the Greensboro Sports.
Yeah, it's not to you. It's just the way it's written.
Thank you.
Move approval.
Second. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all members may vote on this motion for the recusal. That passes on a majority vote. You moved it. Okay, so we have Mr. Tony Cordo and Mr. Warren to introduce this item.
Hi, my name is James Watterson. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. Mr. Cordo could not be with us tonight, so I'm here along with our Chief Business Officer, Brian Ambule. We're here to secure approval of our fiscal year 26-27 budget as per statute, and then we'll take it to our full board in our June meeting for adoption, and we're here for any questions.
Questions?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? If not, please proceed to vote. That passes on a 7-0 vote with 2 recusals. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Next item on our agenda is interlocal agreement with Piedmont Triad Regional Council administered North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources through the Great Trails State Program grant program of $500,000 for the development of Piedmont Regional Greenway. Mr. Godwin.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, and members of Commission. I'm here for you tonight to seek approval to enter into an interlocal agreement with Piedmont Triad Regional Authority for a grant award of $500,000 from the State Trails Grant Program. And we're also seeking approval to allocate $130,000 in match funds from bond proceeds from our trail development plan. This is a $19.1 million paved greenway that comes from Winston-Salem all the way into Greensboro. The part of this grant is for engineering design for the segment inside of Triad Park that the county and Forsyth County currently operate. Our jurisdictional partners for this grant will be Town of Kearneysville and Forsyth County. This project aligns with our adopted Trails, Parks, No Place master plan that talks about regionalism of trail development of greenways. I will now answer any questions you may have.
Do you hear a motion?
Move approval. Second.
Moving properly, second, in discussion. Hearing none, please cast your vote. That passes on a unanimous vote. Let's take a 10-minute break. Mr. Manager, allow you to get prepared for your budget message. All right.
Can you hear it? Testing. All right. Yes.
come back to order, please.
Mine's here.
Let us come back to order. Next item on our agenda is our county manager's fiscal year 2026-27 budget message. Mr. Manager, it's all yours.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and to the board. It is a great honor to be in front of you this evening to talk about the 2027 manager's recommended budget.
Pull your mic down a little bit.
This recommended budget is about ensuring responsiveness, honoring our strategic commitments, maintaining compliance and statutory mandates, promoting fiscal health, advancing economic competitiveness, and ensuring predictability for our residents and our partners. Before we talk about the numbers, I want to revisit our why. It's very simple. You know it to be true. Empowering successful people to thrive in a strong community supported by quality government. This statement is more than just a tagline. It is our shared pool of meaning, our hope that every resident can recognize, even when reasonable people may differ on specific choices. The standard I am using tonight is simple. A county that understands community pressures, prioritizes essential services, and make reasonable fiscal decisions while preserving quality of life is modeling the fundamental purpose of local government. This statement came to me after listening in our budget town halls, listening to our employees, and our residents each and every day. In this current time, we have to make sure that we show up, not just because it's required of us, but we show up from a place of humanity. This budget is designed to meet this standard through responsible and measured choices that represent the tapestry of our community. Our FY27 priorities are consistent with the board's direction over the last several years. We are preserving fund balance, maintaining employer competitiveness, establishing multi-year capital planning, smoothing technology expenses, sustaining the capital debt service plan, strengthening core and strategic priorities, and doing all of this with cost and tax rate controls. This budget also reflects securing recurring revenue to support your board priority investments over the previous years, like public safety, Guilford County Schools, our workforce stabilization, and capital planning without losing the sight of our residents' ability to pay. The re-evaluation of property has created understandable concern about future cost, hardship, and also economic uncertainty. To focus our attention on the budget narrative of priorities and needs, I want to be clear at the outset. The recommended general fund budget totals $935,455,000. The recommended property tax rate is 61.9 cents per $100 of assessed valuation, which is an 11.5 cent reduction from the prior year and the lowest property tax rate in more than over 20 years. The revenue neutral rate is estimated to be at 53.26 cents, and this recommendation is 8.64 cents above that level because responsiveness and quality service delivery, it does not maintain itself. The value of the penny on the tax rate is estimated to be $10,340,000 and would generate $216 million at the rate neutral tax rate of 73 cents, 0.05. The recommended budget captures $89,301,228 above our continuation budget. Why not revenue neutral? The recommended budget is 8.64% or 89 million above the revenue neutral tax rate and is tied to specific commitments. The largest component is education at 5.53 cents or 64% of revenue above revenue neutral. This reflects both operating support and continuing the debt service plan associated with the voter-approved bonds for school capital. It should be noted, the Board of County Commissioners reduced the amount of debt service plan in the current year's budget to avoid a tax increase to the community, while addressing staffing needs in previous years in child welfare, emergency services, and additional school operating funding for classified pay and also for safety and security. The county must get back on track with school capital debt service, that plan that was established in 2022. These are not abstract increases. They are the cost of sustaining our commitments, meeting our mandates, and maintaining appropriate service levels. Building the recommended budget. County departments develop strong continuation budgets for FY27, meaning that they are moving forward with delivering mandated services and board-approved services with minimal changes in funding or positions to be added. Factors I recommend as we build this budget, I have tasked him with, include recognizing inflation and cost of living, navigating the loss of federal and state revenue associated with federal policy change and reimbursement rates, compounded capital expenses that must be addressed over time, making sure that we stabilize our workforce, specifically in the space of public safety and also health service related positions, and then also promoting regionalism and interlocal collaboration in the space of mobility and transportation, water and sewer, housing, homelessness, and enhancing our fire and rescue standard of coverage. I want to begin with community context. A budget is not only a financial document. As I stated earlier, it is a fiscal narrative about who we serve, what pressure residents are facing, and what responsibilities government must carry. Guilford County is growing. We are one of the largest counties in the United States. We have grown by approximately 5% since 2020, and we are projected to add roughly 86,000 residents over the next 20 years. That growth is connected to economic development successes in aviation, advanced manufacturing, health sciences, bioprocess manufacturing, and it will affect how we plan for schools, public safety, infrastructure, and human services in this present day and also in future years. Most importantly, as we celebrate this and recognize this demand, I am proud to say that Guilford County is truly at the center of it all. More than 138,000 people flow into our county daily, which strengthens our economy, but also increases daytime service demands on public safety and also emergency response. That inflow also points out to an opportunity. We should continue exploring revenue diversification strategies so commuters and visitors can help support the service and amenities they use. North Carolina's growth and business climate are major advantages for Guilford County. At the same time, growth requires infrastructure, workforce skill development, housing, and service capacity. The last year of available data shows that $1.8 billion of economic activity was associated with tourism. Article 46, the 1/4 of 1 cent sales tax, is one way to diversify revenue. If approved, in the North Carolina 2026 general election, it could generate an estimated $28.7 million to support core services such as fire and rescue, teacher supplements, and community college investments. That connects residents to our local economic opportunities. As we continue to discuss about economic development, this forecast reinforces why planning matters. Over 21,000 new jobs have been announced since 2023, including Jet Zero, Lumentum, and Lenovo. This development has resulted in $17.1 billion in new capital investments in Guilford County. The annual average private sector wage in Guilford County is targeted at $62,455, an improvement over time, but we're still lagging behind larger communities. As we think about economic competitiveness, we must recognize that it is broad, also it is essential to nurture. It includes investments in workforce, education, infrastructure, quality of life, housing, childcare, broadband, sound policies, water and sewer, shovel-ready sites, and a predictable business climate. Our budget has to strategically and incrementally support that full ecosystem before your ability to demonstrate readiness, desirability, and alignment with our business community. County government does not own every lever as we think about this level of maintenance, but we must continue to be a critical convener to address these large-scale investments. Your leadership is greatly appreciated in housing development, transportation, health and wellness, and education. Growth means that we must have a clear framework that leverages our opportunity to be more and more competitive. We must make sure that power, water, and sewer, transportation, broadband, housing, education, and workforce all influence whether business investments and our residents thrive. We must think not only about supporting the system that brings economic development to our county, but we must also think about the demands that it puts on our county operations. Our school system, our public utility systems, public safety teams, and human service programs are all highly responsive to the size and demographics of our county. We must plan for these changes now so service quality and effectiveness is not impacted by our ability to be out of sync with our changing community. We have a very uncertain economy. That means that Guilford must remain responsive and committed to its residents, as historic data shows economic distress increases demand for safety net and also emergency services. Some key considerations that we must note is that we heard loud and clear through town halls and ongoing engagement. Residents have clearly expressed that inflation and rising of living costs are impacting their daily lives. Families across Guilford County are facing expenses for housing, food, health care, and also transportation at an alarming rate, and they must think about the trade-offs. These challenges affect people across income levels, ages, and also communities, from working families to our seniors on mixed income, for young adults entering the workforce. Residents are not only concerned about the calling for thoughtful, responsible action, and Guilford County must rise to that occasion. How do we rise to that occasion? Guilford County shows up in the time of need. We have proven that countless times before, and we are using data to be more effective at how we serve others. The Adult Resource Team is one example of cross-system collaboration that identifies high utilizers of 911 and connects them to care plans. In FY25, this approach helped break the cycle of crisis for more than 1,000 residents and generated over $1.5 million of public safety savings. Data intelligence will continue to guide our resident engagement as it relates to services, and I look forward to FY27 leaning more into data intelligence to explore how do we support our seniors who are visiting our EDs at an alarming rate, as well as experiencing eviction. We expect the same life-changing impact and cost savings in future years. It should also be noted that at the same time, our community-based supports are under pressure. You heard from nonprofits across the region that they are experiencing an erosion of federal as well as state funding, and is weakening our community safety net. When those supports diminish, residents turn more to our county services, emergency departments, DSS, as well as 911. The Guilford community receives an estimated $296 million in federal grants, and they are at risk of losing funding reductions. 78% of nonprofits with federal funding in this region don't have sufficient funding to maintain their operations because they don't have the surplus. Economic pressures plus fiscal capacity means that in the conclusion of this all, as it relates to our community context, our county must responsibly address key services while recognizing these economic pressures. We cannot fund every need in 1 year. A multi-year approach based on incremental investments is the most responsible path forward. Now let's talk about building a budget. With that context, I want to turn to the leadership lens that was used to build this budget. The question was not simply what requests were worthwhile. The question was what is required, what is demanded by our community conditions, and what is reasonable within our fiscal capacity. I evaluated the budget through responsibility, reasonableness, measurement, and ethics and values. Responsibility means understanding operational requirements and our strategic priorities. Reasonableness commits us to phasing investments without the scope of the community's readiness should not take place, and we also should have available resources before we move forward. Measurement promotes data-driven decisions and clarifies our return on investments. And last but not least, our ethics and values holds us to transparency, accountability, and alignment with community voice. As a pause, these lights are not my friend. Financial and operation conditions. The financial and operational conditions are clear. Inflation is affecting residents and county operations. Federal and state funding is changing while we have increased mandates for services. Capital costs in Guilford County are compounding. Workforce stabilization remains essential in public safety and also our health services. And regional collaboration, as I referenced earlier, is needed. We also have limited revenue sources when compared to other urbanized counties. When we think about community assets, our limitations, as well as our opportunities, there are several factors that shape county budgeting. Guilford County has its strengths, but we also have conditions that increase demand and also limit our flexibility. When compared to the 7 most populated counties, Guilford County has the 3rd highest poverty rate at 15%. Over 30% of our residents receive Medicaid and or food and nutrition assistance. Low wealth has a direct and measurable impact on public education at the local level. In Guilford, 65% of our schools are designated as Title I, indicating a higher concentration than many of our peer communities. Our population density is at 600 residents per square mile and is the 3rd lowest among peer communities. There is greater land use opportunity as well as growth, and our current growth is occurring at a scattered pattern. And we must think strategically, along with our municipal partners, around how we engage in housing development. Because what we must recognize is that with scattered housing and a population density per square mile of 860, it costs at a greater rate to make sure that some of our core services are able to meet those standards whenever they go to those homes. Among our peer counties, Guilford is the only jurisdiction without a voter-approved revenue diversification strategy. whether it's Article 46 in sales tax or prepared food tax. The 2026 Article 46 sales tax projections again indicate almost $29 million of new revenue. If we had prepared food tax, projection indicates that we will have an additional 16 to 18 million for additional revenue. Continued alignment and education with the greater community is needed so we can think about revenue diversification to then shift the costs as it relates to property tax to other alternative forms of revenue. As we think about the fiscal health in building our budget, the first key investment is recognizing that we must have a healthy fund balance. Strong debt ratios and structurally balanced budgeting are not just financial metrics. They protect our ability to respond to emergencies, future growth, infrastructure needs, and changes in federal and/or state funding. Guilford County is financially well managed. We maintain the highest credit ratings on outstanding general obligated debt. AAA from S&P Global Ratings and AAA from Moody's Investors Service. This budget continues the discipline to reduce reliance on fund balance and improve structural balance over time. As we dig deeper into our debt, we must recognize that our debt to assessed value measure shows that our existing and proposed debt remains well below the state cap as well as the county's more restrictive policy at 3%. This means the county can meet current debt obligations while still protecting long-term financial stability. Another measure to look at is debt per capita. It temporarily exceeds the county's target for 4 years under a conservative 1% population growth assumption. This will improve as population growth strengthens through economic development. The key point is that our multi-year debt planning keeps the county within a manageable and transparent framework while honoring our school capital debt service plan. Fund balance, it remains healthy. Due to the board's proactive management of debt, the county's total fund balance is well above the LGC's recommendation for counties our size. However, as we look at the next 10 years, we must recognize that our unassigned fund balance, which are the reserves with the least amount of restrictions, is beginning to trend below the prior fund balance target of 8% of the subsequent year. The recommended budget continues to incrementally strengthen our unassigned fund balance by reducing the use of appropriated fund balance. This is an important step towards structural balancing, as fund balance utilization has been reduced by $7.8 million in this recommended budget. Our revenue forecast. I want to walk through our revenue forecast because it's important to understand that as our revenue comes in, we have to make sure that our projections are aligned with our expenses. And we also need to make sure that those investments that we make line over multiple years with our revenue forecast. Our revenue outlook identifies that property tax remains the county's primary revenue source. The budget assumes $13 million of natural reoccurring growth. This is a positive indicator for the county as it continues to grow. Additionally, the 8.46 cent above revenue neutral will generate $89.3 million for additional revenue. Because property tax is such a large share of the general fund, the recommended tax rate must balance residents' input with costs and maintaining our mandated essential services. As we look at sales tax, it is the second largest reoccurring revenue source, but growth has slowed over the last 3 years. The recommended budget assumes 0% growth over the prior year budget. The 0% budget to budget growth rates is aligned with counties like Gaston, Forsyth, Cumberland, and Buncombe. Federal and state revenues are also constrained. The recent approval of H.R. 1, this bill, formerly known as the One Big Beautiful Bill, has reduced the federal cost share for food and nutrition services from 50 to 25%, and it will create a $3.1 million deficit for our budget this year. This is a clear example of mandates remaining at a high level while also our funding partnership with the federal government weakens. User charges generate approximately $54 million. This is the same estimate as the prior year. We anticipate growth in EMS transportation revenue due to population growth and also with prior year approved peak demand units, an investment that you made in FY26. However, this growth is offset by losses in other projected revenues, such as federal inmates housed, as well as election revenue loss for municipal elections. We do have a few fee adjustments that are changing in this budget, which are limited to inspections, environmental health, EMS, and solid waste. A nominal amount of funding is included for a parks and recreation study fee. We will also work with NCACC to evaluate our planning fees and revisit our interlocal partnership agreements for planning purposes with 4 towns. Let's dig a little deeper into fund balance. The budget reduces appropriated fund balance by $7.8 million. This helps ensures that the county has sufficient reserves to weather economic shocks or changes in federal allocations. This reduction brings Guilford County more in line with peer counties by budgeting 2% or less from the general fund balance. And I greatly appreciate the board and their conversation over our budget work sessions as we dug deeply into this strategy. There are some things that we need to know about revenue sources with our interlocal partners, particularly as it relates to Guilford County Schools, GTCC, as well as our courts. These partners are central to public education, workforce development, and justice service operations, and their funding needs directly influence the county budget. As you can see, the county has increased public school funding at a greater rate than the state. Minimal state funding for district courts also impacts timely court hearings for youth in foster care and also for residents of low offense crimes, resulting in increased social worker staffing, increased foster care room and board rates and needs, and high detention daily population counts. This directly impacts the county's budget. As we continue to talk about maintaining our services, I want to recognize that this section is an overview of how we move forward, not for just expansion's sake, but to make sure that we provide good current services while meeting mandates and also avoid costs. The county built a strong continuation budget, and we will evaluate expense drivers in the months to come. Accounting for the cost escalations and prioritized mandates and the board commitments is extremely important, and we have been able to reduce our operating budget going into this budget cycle by $3.7 million. However, there are still uncontrollable cost drivers associated with this budget, such as jail medical services, foster care, utilities, contracted services, and an increase in services for our juvenile detention center. Well, the majority of what we do is mandated in some form of state mandated service, and that represents about 86% of our budget. You have seen this before, and what I want you to know is that my recommended budget will continue to shore up our mandated services, but also our mandated services that you have given board level direction to, which represents 14% of our budget, will still move forward under this recommended budget. That 14% of non-mandated services for this board awareness as well as the general community funds key amenities and supports such as our libraries, our parks and recreation, animal services, and our family justice center. Discontinuing these type of services will leave a void in our community. Let's dig a little deeper and talk about key investments. The first key investment area is our core services. These investments are targeted at areas where county government must be responsive to growth, mandates, residential needs, as well as operational capacity. We must plan for our future growth. Planning for future growth requires regional collaboration. This budget supports continued work as it relates to water and sewer, fire coverage, and rural fire protection and planning. For rural fire districts, the recommended budget caps tax rates at 16%, above revenue neutral, with $4.6 million in new revenue. This is a fiscally responsible measure to support needs while limiting the burden on property owners due to projected future alternative revenues to supplement capital expenses based on the 2026 general election Article 26 sales tax referendum. I look forward to working with our rural fire districts on budget revisions based on the ballot outcomes of the Article 46 referendum. I have asked GCS, GTCC to take similar approaches during the budget development process. I look forward to working together with all of our interlocal partners as we continue to leverage our Article 46 revenue strategy. The budget also includes 3 environmental health positions to improve permit review timeliness and support state-mandated well and on-site wastewater inspections. It also includes $150,000 for area planning so residents who have voice in how growth is managed can work together with the county. I believe this area planning funding is extremely important. As I expressed to you earlier, our population of a little over 800 individuals per square mile needs attention, and we must make sure that we work with our towns and our communities and our neighborhoods in a strategic way as we think about particularly suburban growth. Another matter that came up over the past 36 months has been code compliance. There is funding in the amount of $238,014 to support the code compliance program that will respond directly to community voice as well as advocacy as it relates to dilapidated as well as unsafe residential structures. We will make sure that this policy aligns with our safety, public health, and also statute needs, but also making sure that we promote a level of desirability from our community as it relates to our neighborhoods. This budget supports 8 new social work service positions, which will be set off partially as it relates to costs by federal and state revenues. The positions will support services in foster care, eligibility services for our growing aging population, and guardianship responsibilities for adults who cannot make personal, medical, and financial decisions on their own. We also will sustain our ARPA-enabled funded programs that have shown value and community impact and also align with community voice as it relates to advocacy, particularly as it relates to our DSS FJC navigation team and also our food and security program. Additional resident services that we will continue to fund, such as library services in partnership with Greensboro, High Point, Gibsonville, and Jamestown, will have an increase of 9%. For Greensboro and High Point, we will also look at an additional 50 cents per capita. Funding for a full-time age-friendly coordinator is also associated with this budget in partnership with Senior Resources. And we will also support early child care by adding a position to our early child care access subsidy support program with the Department of Social Services. Together, these investments support access to lifelong learning, aging in place, and workforce stability for families. Strengthening our internal operations is also essential. The budget adds capacity in the county attorney's office, information technology, human resources, county administration, as well as the budget team. These positions support legal demands, technology implementation, coverage over our employee benefits, support of our clean energy plan interests, as well as grant management to leverage additional funds to county operations. These positions will strengthen our compliance, our responsiveness, and our ability to capture alternative revenues. As it relates to technology modernization, this is a critical component and a priority of budget operations each and every year. The budget includes $3 million annually for our enterprise resource program to support data between our budget, finance, as well as our HR services. This funding will be based over 5 years to support a system of this magnitude. Also, $1.5 million for core technology replacement, particularly laptops, to make sure that we can smooth out the peaks of expenses, and then also $800,000 for law enforcement body camera replacement. The next key investment is capital. 2 things to note. Deferred capital cannot be ignored indefinitely. Responsible capital planning protects public service, it limits future cost escalation, and supports a safer, more efficient workplace for residents and employees. We must avoid large-scale compounded capital. Capital planning is a large-scale issue that will not disappear. Therefore, I am proposing we implement a common business practice and establish a 5-year rolling capital improvement plan. This has been informed by our space study through CPL Architects. The capital plan is guided by clear principles: prioritize essential repairs, improve operational efficiency, reduce long-term costs, phase investments responsibly, target strategic expansions to promote accessibility for our residents, and reduce the city center footprint where appropriate to support development and strengthen our tax base. The purpose is to avoid a capital planning crisis and to prevent large-scale costs from being pushed on to future generations. The next key investment is strategic priorities. Focus investments in issues that promote quality of life, promote community stability, and the county's ability to respond to urgent needs. There are many strategic interests, and I recommend fiscally advancing only one in this year's budget. That key investment is supporting services for the unhoused. This recommendation includes $1 million to enhance street outreach and emergency sheltering, and an additional $0.4 million to continue eviction mediation and also landlord engagement, a service that you have heard over the past 4 years in your town halls as key, essential, and also impactful. I hope that these investments will reduce the nature of crisis, continue to improve housing stability in this economic environment, and support residents who are housed or at risk of becoming unhoused. This aligns with the COC strategic plan and also their identified gaps. Again, you have heard from advocates in this service, and I want to send a special thank you to our small business community who have stepped up in the gap, whether in High Point or in the city of Greensboro, as it relates to serving those in their time of need. And so with that being said, the $1 million investment, again, will support street outreach and also fund support for a family shelter, which currently is void in the city of Greensboro. What are you not getting in this budget? It is important to be transparent about what is not included. The budget does not attempt to meet every departmental request or program enhancement in 1 year. Several requested positions and enhancements have been deferred to future years so we can maintain sound fiscal capacity and also honor our multi-year budget development approach. 51 positions are not being recommended that have served a level of interest from your department heads. $6.2 million in additional operating funding has not been recommended in this budget. $9.6 million in vehicle funding from emergency services and the sheriff's office, and also $2.6 million as it relates to advancements in technology. Looking at key investments and our partners. Education is the largest key investment area above revenue neutral for this recommended budget. This reflects the county's commitment to Guilford County Schools and also GTCC, while recognizing that there is a need for fiscal predictability as well as cost control. For K through 12 education, the county has already helped fund the construction of over 20 schools. In addition, funding provided has leaned into great outcomes in regards to safety and security improvements in all schools. Guilford County continues to demonstrate an impactful action year over year as it relates to its local funding effort for public education, fostering positive outcomes by ranking in the top 10 of school districts statewide in key areas, 5th in principal supplements, 3rd in assistant principals, and 9th statewide in calculated level of funding effort based on population demographics and level of social services support provided. However, there is work to do as teacher supplements rank 23rd. The 5-year budget plan developed in partnership with GCS creates a predictable funding path for both the county as well as GCS. It phases in operational support, classified employee pay, technology replacement needs, and debt service in a way that controls for future tax spikes. While honoring the county's commitment to public education, I do want to give a special thank you to Dr. Oakley and the budget team for this collaborative approach. The FY27 budget that I'm recommending provides $7.5 million for local operating expenses, which is a 2.8 increase from the prior year. This has been built based on our partnership with NCACC and looking at best practices around creating predictability in your public school systems-based budget. It also allocates, as a recommendation, $9 million in reoccurring funding for a 5-year phased approach for classified staff pay, $1.8 million for safety and security, $5 million for one-time technology, and $1.3 million for non-bond eligible capital expenses specifically targeted for activity buses. Please note that the $5 million technology plan does not support fully the request that was over $18 million. However, the $5 million annual allocation for one-on-one technology can be used within the public school system based on their strategy and approach if these dollars are identified. However, we recognize that this is a growing need for all counties post-COVID. Special revenue, particularly ESSER funds, have enhanced an opportunity to leverage technology, and many counties are facing how we move forward. Unfortunately, not all of the funding was allocated or matched with this manager's recommendation, and I am recommending $5 million for their one-to-one technology program. In addition, $3.5 million will be allocated in this budget of new revenue to support the ongoing school capital debt service plan that has been obligated and set forth by our voter-approved bonds. As we look deeper at the recommended budget for GCS, funding for classified pay has been identified as a priority. Classified staff sustain operations for public schools. They drive buses, clean buildings, prepare food, and aid in the classroom. State funding has not ensured their pay to be at market. In addition, while Guilford County continually exceeds peer counties in salary supplements for principals and assistant principals, it lags in supplements for teachers. The recommended budget does not include funding for teacher supplements. The upcoming Article 46 referendum plans are slated to address this need. If passed, this could create long-term predictability and shift the demand from property tax to sales tax revenue. Should voters approve this referendum, the anticipated revenue to support teacher supplements is estimated to be over $20 million a year. As we transition from public schools, the space of K through 12, I do want to spend some time talking about our community college, better known as GTCC. In partnership with Dr. Clark, staff looked at a 5-year needs assessment, and we were able to align with also economic development trends and also workforce demands. These investments created a space and opportunity for us to increase $1.5 million of local support for operating expenses. This will support 5 new positions tied to aviation and an increase of a lease at the Union Square building to support the nursing program and also student accessibility. We also are allocating $1.2 million in reoccurring revenue to address their deferred capital needs. I believe that this is a workforce investment connected directly to economic development. GTCC's capital expansion supports the workforce pipeline for Guilford County, and we have many wins, and we must continue to get aligned to make sure that our residents have the needed certifications and qualifications to answer the call to work. Therefore, we have developed an intentional 5-year rolling capital plan, which will help connect residents to work based on the space provided for individuals to learn and meet those certifications. Initial funding will help support expansions in health sciences, skilled trades, as well as bioprocess manufacturing. We also look forward to working with the state to continue their match to support the Aviation 2 building, as well as the Advanced Center for Manufacturing in future years. The GTCC budget plan is also multi-year and within the county's fiscal capacity. Through collaborative conversations around capital needs that can be addressed over 5 years and operating and capital investments being clear, we are able to move forward with a budget for GTCC with no new county dollars. For FY27, I am recommending an allocation of $29,938,200. We were able to hold GTC flat because we were able to look at reallocating from their debt service program based on their capital needs that can be achieved over the next 5 years. As I come to a close, I want to return to our next steps. The budget process is designed for transparency, public input, and board deliberation before adoption. Looking back at our budget priorities, this recommendation addresses board-established priorities and checks all the essential community and strategic investment boxes. The funding above revenue neutral supports K through 12 education, also stabilizes and creates responsive opportunities for county operations. It creates structural balance, technology enhancements, sheriff office body cameras, 28 new positions, a 5-year county rolling capital plan, continue ARPA programs that have been deemed as successful, and also leans into supporting services for the unhoused. Each of these items have been identified as impactful and represent a public purpose. When we zoom out to the entire recommended budget and a tax rate of 61.9 cents, please note that 5% of the tax rate supports our community college, 60% supports K through 12 education, and 35% supports community needs. Regardless of the budget's distribution, I hope it honors our county values and is aligned with the board's strategic vision. To summarize the budget at a glance, the recommended general fund is $935,455,000. The revenue neutral rate is 53.26 cents, and the recommended rate for this budget is 61.9 cents. That rate is a significant reduction of 11.15 cents. We will continue to meet our core responsibilities based on this recommended budget. In summary, the budget is aligned with our mantra, successful people living in a strong community, supported by quality government, and it is wrapped in our community values. It controls for incremental costs and addresses large-scale demands. It promotes fiscal health. It addresses funding loss and funding and federal policy changes. It aligns with economic growth, supports foster care, strengthens detention services, advances our strategic priorities, and provides collaborative funding plans for GCS and GTCC. One area, however, that we will continue to monitor is the impact of the property tax moratorium and tax reform proposals that are being discussed now at the state. Senate Bill 889 is a property tax moratorium which was approved by the North Carolina Senate and will now go to the House for consideration. Guilford is a county that could be impacted by this moratorium because of the state-mandated 2026 property revaluation. If a moratorium is imposed, I will propose a budget based on our natural reoccurring revenues that will likely include no new funding for GCS, limited school capital debt service capacity, no merit or compensation adjustments for county staff, flat rural fire district tax rates, and revisions to future economic incentive participation. Please recognize these trade-offs as it relates to revenue restrictions are real and they must be clearly understood. However, I also recognize that this is my manager's recommended budget and also my recommended considerations if a moratorium is imposed, and it is the board's decision. The next steps are straightforward. The public hearing is scheduled for June the 4th. Budget adoption is scheduled for June 18th, and the new fiscal year begins July 1. I encourage residents to stay engaged and provide feedback throughout this process. I want to thank the Board of County Commissioners for your time tonight, for your deliberate attention, for your thoughtful input in the work sessions that we have had. I also want to thank our employees, all 3,000, but I also want to thank our budget as well as Deputy County Manager Toy Bengay for operating in his dual role. Our budget team is simply amazing, and I was able to lean into a moment of humanity as I closed out this budget process. And I was able to open up this manuscript and look at a series of notes from staff, recognizing the hard work that we have put into creating this opportunity that is before you now. 3,000 employees come together each and every day to respond to local government in a way that meets the community needs. All 550,000 residents. I am proud to serve in this role as county manager. I am proud to work along with those employees. I am proud to receive the insight and the direction that you offer as a board, and I am proud of this recommended budget as we are moving forward in cultivating humanity for the best interest of the public good. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Let's give our manager a round of applause for that presentation. Thank you again, Mr. Manager. And everyone has received their copy of the manager's recommended budget. Next item is the Managed Health and Human Services update.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to provide Guilford County's Child Fatality Prevention Team Annual Report. Today's presentation will highlight the team's role, preliminary 2024 child death data, prevention recommendations, and community efforts underway to improve child safety and well-being across the county. The CFP team is a state-mandated multidisciplinary team established under North Carolina law. The team reviews child deaths from birth through age 17 to better understand contributing factors and identify opportunities for prevention. Our work focuses on identifying trends, gaps in systems or services, and opportunities for policy or community-based improvements. Recent changes to the law last year now requires that both the Social Services Director and the Public Health Director to serve on the CFP team. But in addition, Guilford County CFP team includes partners from healthcare, law enforcement, emergency services, the medical community, and youth behavioral health agencies. This multidisciplinary structure is essential because child fatalities are often influenced by multiple factors, including healthcare access, injury prevention, social conditions, and family support systems. Preliminary data is provided by the state and indicates in 2024 there were 73 child deaths in the county. The causes of death categories are predetermined by the state before they're provided to our local team. The leading causes of death continue to include perinatal conditions, birth defects, and illnesses, and this is aligned with what we see in the statewide trend for child deaths. Many of these deaths are associated with broader upstream factors such as maternal health, access to prenatal care, chronic disease, prematurity, and social determinants of health. Of note, the 73 deaths in 2024 does represent a decrease from 79 deaths in 2023 and 82 deaths in 2022. And the decreases have been led in declines specifically in perinatal condition deaths. But you'll see here some deeper dive into the 2024 data. Perinatal conditions represent the largest category of deaths, followed by illnesses, and birth defects. There is a category that's called all other causes. This is often rare, medically complex, or undetermined cases that are categorized in this category. The data also reflects deaths related to injuries, motor vehicles, homicide, and poisoning. Unsafe sleep environments can continue to be an important contributing risk factor in infant deaths, even when it's not formally listed as the cause of death. And these findings reinforce the importance of continuing investments in maternal and infant health, injury prevention, safe sleep education, and family support services. I'll turn it over now to Sharon, who's going to talk about our recommendations next.
So I'm going to highlight just two of our prevention recommendations. One that we're really going to focus on is the strengthening systems supporting early and continuous prenatal care, including coordinated referral and care management for high-risk pregnancies. This falls in line with a lot of the work we're doing across the county. The other one that we're really going to focus on is promoting safe sleep education. That's something that this team has worked on for a long time and will continue to work on that. Just a couple of the activities to highlight are our safe sleep campaigns and our purchasing of safety items such as pack and play and other things that will fall under those safe sleep supports. To highlight two of our community awards, we were able to award Precious Cargo Program $2,000 and a mini grant to Level Up Parenting. And just in closing, we're continued to be really focused on the mission of this committee, and with Courtney's help, we've followed the new state policy and revamped this and have had a sort of a reinvigorating of this committee and a recommitment to the mission. So we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Mr. Jones?
Yeah, thank you for this report. It certainly is a somber reminder that not all children survive their childhood. In terms of additional data around the child deaths, I was wondering if there's any demographic or even geographic data around the children who died last year, specifically looking at whether a function of gender, ethnicity, race, income levels if we have any of that data. I think it might help us as we're trying to understand where the potential areas for focus might be, and including geographic data in terms of if there's any sort of concentration that we're finding with where these children are living who are dying.
Yes, so we can get back to you with the race and ethnicity data. For geographic data, because some of the numbers are small, we have to be really careful about publicizing some of that data because we don't want any potential for identification.
Yeah, and if you find that like you have to expand it out to get circles or whatever, or however else you need to expand it, I think it would just be helpful for us to have additional context for some of the data we're receiving.
Certainly.
All right.
Tell me, you have a question?
I did, and I'm sorry if I missed it, but what is the definition of a child? And maybe, was that in there? Is it 0 to 5, or is it?
From birth up to age 17.
17, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you.
Yes.
Additional questions? All right, next one. What about the HHS, DSS? You're doing that now?
Yes, so we are here for the quarterly report out on the MOU metrics. In January, I'm happy to report that social services met all of our benchmarks. The only one I'll draw your attention to is we continue to not have available to us our adult protective services data, and that's a state system issue. So as soon as we're able to get that, we will share that. We haven't been able to get it, I believe, for the last 3 months. One that I want to draw your attention to was our report card in Medicaid. There was 1 month or one time in February where we did not meet the goal. However, the state issued a blanket waiver for all counties due to the snow and having less time to process applications. So we have a waiver for that. So in essence, we met that. I'm happy to take any questions about our benchmarks if you have any. And child support?
Yes. Good evening, Chairman Alston, Vice Chair Foster, and Board. My name is Vicki Spock. I'm a Program Manager with the Child Support Department. We've completed the third quarter of state fiscal year 25-26, and I'm pleased to report the department has exceeded all minimum performance measures as outlined in the MOU.
Questions? Thank you very much. All right. Next item on our agenda is appointments and reappointments of boards and commissions. Guilford County Behavioral Health Center Oversight Board, appoint Sheila Williams Stacy to first term in Mental Health Service Provider Representative position, and appoint James Stoll to first term as CIT Sworn Officer position. Guilford County Health and Human Services Advisory Committee, appoint Bruce Sherman as first term in Greensboro residence position. Appoint Brooklyn LaFawn to first term in veterinary position. Appoint Dr. Chandra Carrington to first term in the social work position. Appoint Latasha Lovett to first term in High Point residence position. And Latasha Reddick to first term in county residence position. Do I hear a motion? Yes. You had a question, Mr. Foster?
Yeah, I would like to pull the application for Ms. Williams Stacy because since that is a District 1 appointment until our next meeting.
All right. So the motion is to amend it by removing Ms. Sheila Williams Stacy from the mental health position. Okay.
I'll move that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moving the proper second. All those in favor, please cast your vote. Pass on unanimous vote. Next one is the exception reappointment to various boards and commissions. Jury Commission, reappoint April O. Coleman to third term as Board of County Commissioners designee. Do I hear a motion? You have a second? Moving the proper second. Discussion. Please cast your vote. Passes on a unanimous vote. Commission liaison reports. Anybody? Mr. Purdue?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, the Behavioral Health Oversight Committee met on April 20th, received updates from our partners in Greensboro and High Point, and pleased to inform the board that those folks are doing great work and continue to elevate and meet the need. One of the things that is interesting is we've reached the 5-year anniversary of our mental health building being open on June 1st. And we're planning a celebration right now. You'll be seeing something on that here very soon. So pay close attention to watch out for that. It's really been a shining light for many people across this county and continues to do so as we elevate the services and opportunities that are provided to that particular facility. So I just want to thank all our volunteers that serve on that board and the work our partners do to help us meet that need. Thank you.
County Manager, I know you're tired of talking. You don't have anything else to do.
I don't have anything else to say tonight.
That's what I thought.
I got away from the light. How about that?
Madam Attorney. All right. Commissioner's comments. Mr. Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to take a moment to thank our county manager. Thank you, not just you, but also your team for moving up the budget presentation process. I appreciate it, and I look forward to diving in, reading this binder this weekend. Lastly, I attended a bridge naming ceremony Monday in Colfax on I-40, honoring the life of Sergeant Dale Nix with fellow Commissioner Pat Tillman, and that's it for me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Perfect.
Thank you. Just want to echo the comments of thanks to the manager for a wonderful budget message tonight, and look forward to the opportunity to dig into the full document and continue our work on getting to a final budget. Thank you.
Go.
Same. Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work. I think you did a great job putting this together and presenting it, and you know I'm going to read it, so I'll be emailing you with all my questions. But I look forward to it, and I know it's got great stuff in there. I'll also share with the board that I attended a NCACC special call board meeting where they gave an update on the new building that they are renovating on behalf of all of our county commissioners and members across the state. And I'm excited that it'll be a space that we can all use. Anytime we're in Raleigh, we can take meetings there. They'll have spaces to host events. So I think it's going to be really exciting for us to have a home in Raleigh. I also will lift up the work that PTRC did to host a housing summit last week. I think some of my fellow commissioners spent some time at the summit. It was an all-day event, and I was able to be there for the afternoon. They did a great job. We had some city council members and other leaders from the community that were represented to talk about the need for housing and how we can all work to support that for all of our residents to achieve that homeownership goal. And then I guess last I'll just say happy birthday to my son Christopher tomorrow. I know he is not watching, but we can all lift up a happy birthday to him and wish him and his team, his baseball team, good luck as they go to the second round of state playoffs tomorrow in Asheville. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did attend the BHUC meeting a few days ago, a week ago, and we did have a presentation from UNCG on the proposed MORS program. And I know that they asked for a lot of support, and I'm not sure where that stands. Is that still in the offering? Okay. Other than that, Mr. Manager, I think you did an exceptional job tonight. It was easy to follow. I think it's the clearest presentation I remember. So I don't know when I open this book how it's going to be, but thank you. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had the opportunity to attend the ribbon cutting for Lamentum that opened up out of Piedmont Drive Parkway, and it's really amazing that they chose here to come because we were going to lose some significant jobs with the closing of the previous chip manufacturer that was located there, and the work they do to help with AI is just amazing. There's a lot of, I know, pros and cons about AI out there, but it can be really beneficial in a lot of ways, and they're doing some stuff for some super high-tech data centers lot of stuff. So it was interesting. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Manager, for your presentation.
Still.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll echo that. Yeah, the Lumentum ribbon cutting was wonderful, and what a really what a win for Guilford County for them to, as Alan said, to choose us moving all the way across the coast. And Vice Chairwoman Foster did an amazing job, really representing us, and everybody had walk-up music. Everybody that spoke was kind of cool. But yeah, phenomenal opportunity. $610 million in investment. I think around 400 jobs. So really proud of that effort. I too attended with Commissioner Grayhill the Sergeant Dale Nix bridge dedication, and because I didn't want to forget or screw it up, I sort of jotted down some notes, and it was a really awesome day of remembrance. Our own Family Justice Center Director Sonny Desai gave some very moving comments, and what I took out of that was so many people spend a lifetime wondering if they made a difference, and that was not Sergeant Dale Nix. There's no question all the people that he touched, and according to those that served with him, that learned from him, that loved him, it wasn't about the badge, but rather it was about helping others, fighting for domestic violence victims, and transferring all of his just positive habits to others that he touched. And so I just hope that bridge, every time you drive through it, it's at the I-40 and Sandy Ridge Road bridge, that it will forever be etched into history and what he stood for. And his uncle, Skip Nix, who gave 30 plus years of his life to public service, said something very interesting. Nowhere in the scripture does it say that when we pass that we can look down and see what's happening here. But on occasion, I believe, as does Mr. Nix, that it happens. And I think Sergeant Nix was definitely looking down. And I'll end with this. I had just this past weekend, I was leading 3 soldiers that are going to be deployed in about a month. And the soldiers are from all different backgrounds. There's 4 of them, actually, and most of them under the age of 24. And they volunteered to go overseas. And I can't tell you where they're going to go, but it's certainly outside the United States. And it's in a very dangerous area. And so just think about those in your daily life that are right now over there serving currently. They might not be piloting fighter jets or in those high-speed type endeavors, but there are people every day, and we've got 4 people here from the triad that are going to be serving us in that way. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Jones?
Yeah, just a couple of things. First, want to congratulate again our new Family Justice Center Director, Sonny Desai. It certainly is an indication of the strong staff that we have and the ability to have an internal promotion into that. It couldn't have gone to a more deserving person to continue the strong work, and it's a testament to just the culture we have here in the county. Also want to mention that last Friday participated in a recognition of Law Day, recognizing the importance of the legal justice system and the importance of equity in that system. And so I was joined here in the right in front of the dais with Judge Bill Davis, Judge Mark Tyree, Superior Court Judge Lisa Johnson-Tompkins, City Councilman Adam Marshall, and members of the Greensboro Bar Association, and thanks staff for helping to pull together the county's resolution. Also want to recognize on this past Monday, the chair and I attended the funeral of T.O. Stokes Jr. Mr. Stokes passed the day before his 98th birthday, and I know that the chair has plans to recognize him with a resolution here at our next meeting, but certainly was a giant in this community. Last night I had the opportunity to participate in a youth leadership council program for the Guilford County Schools, which is focused on service learning. And Commissioner Murphy, I got my honorary service learning diploma, which I will proudly display as an honorary graduate of Guilford County Schools, but certainly it's a tremendous program that Jordan Cameron is the lead staff person on that and has done an excellent job. And there were several seniors who were announcing their plans, and it was incredibly impressive of where they're going to school and the impact they're going to continue to have. Want to wish congratulations to all the college graduates that will have graduated by the time that we meet again. So congratulations to all of those. And happy Mother's Day to our 4 mothers on the board, as well as to my wife, who will be celebrating her first Mother's Day. So super excited there. That's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I did attend the Lumentum ribbon cutting along with Commissioners Tillman and Purdue, and I was honored to bring remarks on behalf of this board. That is a great economic boost, of course, to Guilford County. I want to congratulate all of the graduates of the Project Board Development, sponsored by the African American Initiative of United Way of Greater High Point. State Representative Amos Quick was the speaker for that, so there were 14 graduates in that class, and I had the honor of introducing him as the keynote speaker. I did attend the North Carolina Black Alliance Conference that was in Raleigh at the end of the month. Want to give kudos to the High Point Furniture Market on a great market that they had this year. Chairman and I were able to attend a concert with Kool and the Gang at the end of the market. Not many people, young people don't know Kool and the Gang, but it was a great concert. I want to congratulate all of the High Point University graduates. I did attend that graduation on last Saturday. Mr. Manager, thank you so much for a comprehensive and detailed recommended budget. You stand and always say that you're proud to serve as the county manager, and we're especially proud that you are our county manager. You do a great job, and we appreciate all that you do. You and your team do. You lead that team, and they do great work, so we are appreciative of that. I want to wish a happy Mother's Day again to all of the mothers. Not just on this board, but all of the mothers across Guilford County. That's going to be Sunday, so I know it's going to be a lot going up. The High Point Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is sponsoring May Week. Much love. Much love to our county attorney. Yeah, we're there. Starting on May 17th, we're going to have a recognition program for classified staff in Guilford County High Point schools that are in our service area, but that's going to be held at High Point University. It's going to be a program and a reception there on Monday. We are partnering with North Carolina A&T Cooperative Extension for Speedway to Health for elementary schools. So we have about 350 elementary school students that will be participating in that, and that's going to be held at Carl Chavis. On Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be focusing on the youth science program within Guilford County Schools. So we have about 600 7th graders coming on Wednesday, about 600 10th graders coming on Thursday, and we have a lot of community partners that will be setting up, and they will get to tour station, and some of that is going to be hands-on. We're going to have Guilford County EMS there, Guilford County Sheriff's Department there, Guilford County Health Department there, along with High Point Police Department and other community partners there. So that's going to be a great event there. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. And so on behalf of the chairman here, I want to take a moment to recognize a very special team here in Guilford County. May 3rd through May 9th is National Clerk Appreciation Week. And on behalf of this board, I want to express, on behalf of our chairman, our sincerest appreciation for our outstanding Guilford County Clerk's Office. Can we give them a round of applause? Clerk's Office is one of our smallest departments, but it is also one of the departments this county simply could not function without. We want to personally recognize our clerk to the board, Robin Keller, our deputy clerk, Arian Webb, deputy clerk, Tebony Rosa, communications manager, Worley Smith, and public records manager, Beth Smith. This team is truly the heartbeat of Guilford County government. Every department, every major meeting, every important event, and every historic moment connects in some way through the clerk's office. They support not only the 9 members of this board, but also the county manager's office, our departments, our towns, our state partners, and more than 60 boards and commissions made up of over 400 citizen volunteers. They manage our meetings, preserve the official history of Guilford County, maintain our records for future generations, help ensure transparency and access to public information, and truly serve as trusted liaisons across county government. Their work often happens quietly behind the scenes, but their impact is felt in every single day. They also write all of our resolutions, which is why the chairman did not ask them to write their own resolution tonight. Without the clerk's office, Guilford County would come to a standstill. We are grateful for their professionalism, dedication, long hours, and steady service to this board and to the people of Guilford County. So to Robin, Arian, Tebony, Worley, and Beth, thank you. We see your work, we value your service, and we are so proud to recognize you during National Clerk Appreciation Week.
Give them another round of applause. That was really on behalf of the board and all of our county staff, because we can't do without our county clerk staff. Thank you all for the great work that you do. All right, moving right along, I have one thing with the county manager. Again, I want to thank you. This past, was it Tuesday? You and I spoke with the city manager and the mayor. Had the opportunity to speak before the Greensboro Realtors Association. Over 125 realtors were there, and the manager laid out our budget process, and they really, really understood it, and they really received it very well, because we knew that they were the ones that's going to be kind of affected by all of the reappraisals, being able to talk about it, and he broke it down, just like he did with the town hall meetings, and all of them was very, very grateful for him sharing all that detailed information. It was very, very helpful. So, Mr. Manager, again, I'm very proud of you. You did an excellent job, and you make us feel proud. With that being said, I entertain a motion for us to go into closed session for the purpose of consulting with our county attorney.
So moved.
Moving in proper second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those is nay, ayes have it. We stand in closed session.
How you doing, Chief? I'm good. Yourself? All right.
Yeah, I'll take that for Pastor Williams Memorial 100-year anniversary, church anniversary.
All right, motion to come back in open session.
So moved.
Move proper second to come back in open session. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those is nay, ayes have it. We stand in open session. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moving in proper second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those is nay, ayes have it. We stand adjourned.
Thank you.